It's Tuesday. It's 7:30, which means it's time for Live with Simone.
Hey, hey! Chad and I was just talking about watching the intro video that you put together. We're just talking about how much Landon has grown, but not just that, but the fact that he still wears that same shirt. It's his Australia shirt. He loves it and he wears it all the time. So yeah, but anyway, well, I guess we have a few things to talk about. I have Chad with me tonight, and with the US Open done. We have a lot of things to share. I know I've had quite a few questions about the tournament itself. And of course, like the question that nobody believes until until it actually becomes a reality. This was my last US Open, and it finished quite well. But the whole experience for me, it was terrific. Playing at home. There's always the pluses and the minuses, but I think as being around the people that I know and so many people that are our students and friends were around, so it was really nice. But I'll start, of course. The week prior we had Morgan here, and we trained the whole week, and we had Lauren and then Julian. They came on Thursday, and we got to hang out and spend a lot of time together.
Eat a lot of food.
Eat a lot of food.
Drink a lot of beer.
That was him and Morgan. But we had a lot of fun. It was. I think it was like we had a little Australian family with the two Aussies going. I think the best part, and if Julian is watching, is it's PG-13 show, but it was the best. It was Julian's imitation of Chad. that was the best from the week.
You've got an Australian filter and an American filter. The American filter is PG-13. The Australian filter is
rated R.
Double R.
No. Oh my gosh. But yeah, so needless to say, dinners were quite entertaining. And just training again for singles, it had been quite some time for me. Evidently, I had high expectations that I always do, but I also am realistic, and I kind of figure a week of training for a big tournament like that, it would be tough. But I thought I played really well Sunday. I started at 8, and I was through the first and second round by 9 o'clock. And then I had to wait, with all the matches and everything, it backed up a little bit. And I don't think I played the semifinals until I think like 2 o'clock. And, I lost to Leah. I did play the second game much better. I started off pretty slow, and then I had to kind of dig myself out of trouble. And of course, I will not forgive myself. At 10-10, I missed the serve. That was awful. I had to laugh, at myself, but that was like, oh my gosh, like really? But she played really well. I mean, I thought I hit some pretty good passing shots. My movement is still not quite where I want to be. And I don't know, honestly, that's one thing that is kind of hard to come to terms with. I don't know if it will ever be what it was even a year ago. So I just kind of taking day by day. So,
you're also a year older. So.
I'm a year older, and I don't know. I mean, I feel like, I pushed myself pretty hard. I think everybody was scared because I fell at the end of 10-10 or something.
Running for a ball that was past you,
yeah.
And then went head first in the
Pretty much. Normal. But yeah, nothing happened. And the reason why I didn't continue playing is because I had already pushed myself enough. And I was like, okay, I don't need to. It was more prevention than, and of course, like if I had won, I would have played the finals, of course. But I also figured like I had to play a tough match. I think I would have played Anna in a game to 15. And then if somehow I ended up winning that, I would have to play a 2 out of 3 for the bronze. And it was not that like, I just felt like this is, I've done quite a bit here, and I competed, and I really pushed myself to as far as I could go. And I couldn't even practice. I couldn't do anything for a couple of days. I got treatment on Monday. I literally like stretched and did a ton of stuff for recovery on Monday and Tuesday. And then I didn't get to practice until Wednesday because that's when my body started feeling better again. So yeah, so I felt like it was the smart decision. And so that way I could compete with my partners. And so Lauren and I played on Friday. We played really well on Friday. And we got to then to the semifinals, and of course it started raining, crazy rain. It's been raining like the whole week. It rained yesterday and today again as well. So then Friday we played a couple matches, and then we were in the semifinals, and then on 7 a.m. on Saturday we came back to play our semifinals. And I thought like we were on the same page. We were playing really well together, but like we did not play our best in that semifinals. I felt like I was a little hesitant and just didn't feel like I performed quite well for our team. But again, you know, they played well and they deserved that win. And then we kind of played. It was kind of weird because then I was like, oh, now I'm playing mixed doubles with Ben. So we went and played. I think we played a couple matches of one match of mixed doubles, and then he went and played his finals of men's doubles. That must have been like it was quite a hectic day. And then we had another rain delay, and then we came back to play we played the bronze.
Men's gold started, rain delay. They came back, played a couple of points. You went out
for bronze.
Had the same rain delay, came back and played.
Yeah, and then I think I played another. Didn't I play another mix as well or something? Yeah.
Yeah, and then you went and played another mix.
Yeah. So it was like a mix and match that day, and then came back. So because more rain came, there was no way that we were going to be able to finish. So then more rain came, and we actually rained like pretty much all the whole night. And then we came back on Sunday, and we started at 8, and we had 3 mix. So we had the quarters, the semis, and the finals all back to back that morning, which for me was sensational. It was great because it kind of kept the rhythm, and it was just back to back matches. But I know a lot of people have been asking about the broadcast, and I know that it sucks because people didn't get to watch those matches yet. And Chad will fill you in a little bit, but my perspective, because again, I remember like matches. I remember tennis matches from I don't know 25 years ago. So of course I would remember the match from Sunday. Our 8 a.m. match against Vivian and Deco was. I mean, you were there watching. I thought it was quite the match. Like the first game was one-sided, the second game was one-sided, and then that third game was a nail biter. And unfortunately for them, we got really lucky and got there was a lot of leg cords in that match for both sides, but the one. We had a match point down at 10-9, and I just remember and Ben told me like I thought match was over because he heard, that clunk clunk on the paddle, and I kind of mishit it, and it hit the leg cord, and then they kind of threw the both of them off timing wise. And then when we got, and that was the side out, and that's when like then literally like Ben, I think, was like, okay, well, so you're telling me there's a chance, and then like turned it on and game over. But it was amazing match. It was phenomenal. And then we went on to play the semifinals against Catherine and Tyson, and then the finals against Jesse and Tyler. So Chad also, and I wanted to kind of, because I know a lot of people watched from home the broadcast, and I think that there's a lot of things that go on when you are watching, and we had this conversation about the perspective of sitting in that seat and kind of analyzing and when a lot of people, of course, when they're watching, it's kind of hard to see the game and see the way that we see it. But there's some things like that you saw that maybe you want to share. But also, I think even like I know me sometimes battle with the ball with the Franklin, but also that makes from some crazy points. But anyways, I'll let you talk about a little bit about, especially like the finals and everything.
No, I mean, for Saturday, obviously it was supposed to be live on CBS. But we had weather coming in, so it was kind of, I got a text message at 9:15 while I was still here at the house, about to jump in the shower. Kids were still asleep, said that we're starting to film at 10 a.m. So that was like a mad scramble to get down there. And then it's kind of, it was just different. I mean, it's a lot of fun to do the commentary, but you definitely see things completely different. Like I see everything from every camera angle. I've got the production truck talking in my ear, and they're trying to make you screw up while you're analyzing the game. You're listening to what the other commentators are saying. So you've got 6 different things going on in your head, but while you're analyzing it, I have the benefit of seeing, like I said, the game from every angle. They're playing it firsthand, so it's like, oh my gosh, there's this massive hole over here, or you're feeding balls into this part. Why can't you see that you need to go this way? So it's definitely easier analyzing a game than playing it. But like I said, we started doing our stand-ups, and one of the complaints like for the whole week is, why don't they have the streaming and all this? And we've got a full production truck, semi-trailer back there. There's 6 different areas going on all at the same time there. So for like a 1:30 shoot or 1:30 start streaming, we start filming at 11 o'clock, doing stand-ups, doing whatever, watching highlight videos from previous matches that then lead into the other stuff. So there's a lot of stuff that goes on before the stream actually starts. Like all the organization, everything starts 2 to 3 hours before the stream actually starts. But yeah, we started the men's gold, and we're going through it. And because this was going to be shown at 7 o'clock, we weren't playing it like it was live, but we couldn't talk about a whole lot of what was going on. So there was this massive clap of thunder, and I started to talk about it, and then they're yelling in my ear not to talk about it. So I like stopped halfway through and just became dead air and figured out something, and they called a timeout, and then it started raining. And then I think we had probably an hour and a half, 2 hour rain delay or something. And then when we came back, they're like, you know what, they were in a timeout. Just pretend that it never rained. And they came out of their timeout, but everybody was there wearing different clothing. Everybody in the stands is sitting in like their rain jackets and whatnot. So, it's tough, because if it's a regular stream, it's completely different than if it's CBS, because CBS has like a ton of guidelines that you got to follow and you got to stay strict with, and whatever else. So, and then obviously for those of you that watch the broadcast, because we've only got a 2 hour window, they try to cut it up as much as they can, but they got to get the commercials in there. So I don't think the women's goal, the full match, was able to be shown on CBS. But unfortunately, we did all of the stand-ups for mixed doubles for the gold. and had all the, everything set for that. But then the rain came in. We spoke to Rusty House with Pickleball Channel today. They were actually out there doing some of the filming on Sunday. So they just grabbed, the production truck left like early Sunday morning. So they grabbed whatever equipment they had. They went out and filmed. I know they have the semifinals, and I know they have the finals, and they just got back into the offices today. So they're starting to go through all the hard drives and everything and find out what footage they have. What does it say with that one?
So the last one.
Footage is visible, so
viable.
Viable. Okay, so Rusty just sent an update right now. So the footage that they got is good enough to edit and put as a stream. So they're planning to upload this Friday for the mixed doubles.
Something for mixed doubles.
Whether it's the semifinal and the final. But there at least plenty have some stuff up there. I know Alex Hamner was doing a live stream of some of the matches on Sunday morning. So
she has the other semifinal, I believe. Tyler and the Newmans. Yeah, and Tyler and Jesse and the Newmans. Yeah.
That was a Facebook live feed. So it was definitely, with all the weather that we had, it definitely threw a wrench in the works and trying to get as much going in, but. It's not as simple as saying, hey, the production truck, just hang around for one more day. That was already scheduled to be, I believe, in Chicago or something like that by Tuesday. So it was like, 2 days worth of driving to get up there, or Monday night or something like that. So they were like pretty strict with their deadline because the truck was actually out of Ohio. So yeah, there's a bunch of stuff that goes on behind the scenes for streaming for the CBS. It was a lot easier doing it this year for CBS, even though we didn't get full coverage. Like last year, because we're in the middle of the pandemic, it was like, as commentators, we're sitting here, and then it's like, all right, you're going live on camera, so then you get up glass barricades and you put it between each other, and it's kind of like, we were never close together, and we're looking through barricades at each other. And then once you're off camera, then you take that back so everybody can actually get back into how you can see. And obviously, we'd all been tested and stuff before we started working together. So it was just, because we're in such confined spaces, it was tough to have a barricade up between everybody and watch a match. This year we didn't have to do it. So it was a lot easier from that standpoint as far as the protocols and whatnot.
Yeah. But again, it's the tournament got bigger. There was a lot more players. I think they doubled the numbers, and then also prize money. I have to say I was excited when I got the check. Surprised because the past few years, like it's been a different amount. So this year it was definitely quite a bit better for the pros, and I think they did a good job for the pro lounge, like where we would kind of hang out, and they had a little different with the food. I honestly I barely ate there during the week because with the kids and everything. Which, by the way, shout out to Lucy and Kelly for fitting Lauren and I. My fault. Yes, huge shout out, of course. Like Lucy and I, it was really, really hard competing against each other. We managed just fine. She played great. But it was so with the rain delay, like with the running around, Chad had taken the kids like a little late, and then it rained, and of course the kids were soaking wet, and my kids love getting wet and staying in wet clothes. They didn't have anything to change into, and we do not need or want sick kids. So I brought them back to Chad's house, and because it's not that close, then all of a sudden I went to take a shower. I get off the shower and I get a message, your match is on. And I'm like, what? Like, wait a minute, what just happened? So of course, like I got changed in the car on the way to the park, and I talked to Chad. I was like, please talk to Melissa. Like, I am not there. Like, I mean, they can forfeit. Like, it's not good, but it is what it is. And of course, like Lucy and Callie didn't do it, and we played the match, and it was a great match. But it was quite the day. So, but anyways, so before we get to questions, and I know people have maybe have some questions about so certain things from the US Open that we didn't talk about, or just kind of what's going on with future tournaments, but we do want to talk about that, Eddie. You have found some new stuff for with the logo and everything. So I'll let you take over.
Yeah. So guys, I'm super excited about this. As you know, that Simone and I, we want to make sure that we keep this content coming to you guys for free. And one way to help support it is by checking out some of the amazing merch that we have out there. And we have some new products that I'm really excited to share. In addition to the amazing t-shirts, hoodies, mugs, all that stuff, we have towels now. And we have a bunch of different colors with the Simone logo in white. We also have a bunch of different colors with the Simone logo in black. As you can see here, this is kind of like a reddish one. They're super great. Go out there, check it out.
Let me see that one. Let me see that one.
All right. Here, I'll open this one up here too. So,
God.
Yeah, so these are great. Take to the beach, maybe throw it in your bag, your pickleball bag. I like to wear as much Simone stuff as possible when I'm out playing, because hoping that some of that can rub off on me and I can play better. It usually doesn't work out that well, but anyway, if you go to simonejardim.store, you can get all the stuff there. If you use coupon code Simone10, you can get 10% off your order. And if you guys have any product suggestions, please let us know. I know we've had a couple requests for visors. The people we order this stuff through, it's not ready yet. I put a suggestion in, but if you have any other suggestions, please let us know. And it's a huge help. So thank you. It goes a long way.
Awesome. So, as far as content coming up, we are hoping to definitely get some stuff, just some new teaching videos here soon. I know that people usually ask for, especially, I mean, there's so many tournaments in a row coming up, but we'll figure it out, find the time to get a few new videos for just kind of instructional stuff. So we'll get that together for sure. But again, I don't know if we have any questions coming in, anything that people would like to find out. I just want to make sure that as far as the content goes for the mixed doubles, make sure that you go to the pickleball channel. That's where the content will be. I don't know if it'll be full or
if you subscribe to the pickleball channel, you'll get notifications when it comes up, when it gets popped up.
Yep, perfect.
And that was actually a question from Janice Bloom. Janice asked where will it be uploaded on Friday. So yeah, it's the pickleball channel. As Chad mentioned, if you subscribe to them and then you click the little notification bell, you'll be notified once it drops.
Yeah, and so the biggest thing is, I think it's when it comes to the footage, we don't know if it will be a full match or if it will be the just a highlight video. But my biggest thing is that I believe the incredible thing about the game that is happening, and for anybody out there, because of course always looking to teach, is that it has become more and more obvious that the hand battles are like they happen more often than not, and people of course are amazed of how fast that ball gets hit back and forth, and And I think that for anybody out there, it's become very obvious that it's all about location, location, location. The more we teach and the more we see the higher level is that often the difference that we see with the people that want to improve and maybe are like at the 4.0 and trying to come up versus somebody that is a pro is that often they're trying to hit winners. Like they're trying to hit a ball like to a small area of the court. The court is already small, and then you have two people there, and they are trying to hit the line or hit the middle of the court, and they don't end up not making an error or feeding right into somebody's paddle because they cover so well. And also like the pattern setting where people sit more, like if somebody's sitting on the back end or vice versa. So that has become more and more important, that you're looking for spots to hit on the body. And I know I have
spots to hit on the body, or I think I've said it so many times for like the 5 days that we're doing it, either moving the ball around to either get it off balance or opening up a hole, or picking a spot. If you notice somebody slides to the right to hit a backhand, don't try to go through their backhand. And once they slide right, hit it to their right, you're going to jam them into the body. But yeah, it's definitely, if you watch some of the pro stuff, there's no, and I think we've said it a ton of times with teaching, you're not hitting two balls into the same spot. Like even though you're going in front, it's a backhand or a forehand, it's not going backhand, backhand, and feeding it back in. Or you're not hitting your two dinks into a similar spot, same ball or something. It's always changing it up, giving different looks.
Well, especially because people are reading those patterns and then they're shifting early. And when I talk about shifting, is like somebody, especially the right players, like they will shift right and hit a backhand. I mean, Deco got me once, and he hit me, and I was like, Deco, I'm off the court because I was shifting so hard to hit a backhand. But that's how he got me, because he came into my right shoulder, and potentially I got hit by an out ball. But the thing is that that's the right play. And I know it's hard because we talked about this in clinic often, where you're not gonna hurt somebody. I mean, you're not going for face, but often when you go for the body, it's a wiffle ball, and that is the right play. It's not that you are trying to hurt someone or do something like that. Is more like that is the best play, because it's either you or them. Because if you try to go through a hole that doesn't exist, you probably gonna be the one that is going to get hit by the ball. Yeah,
because you're gonna feed it into them sitting on either that backhand or that forehand, and then all of a sudden you're the one that's getting smacked back in the chest instead of going in
for sure. And I think the adjustments, I see adjustments. I think that's one big thing that I have seen more and more happening with the higher level is, just playing alongside with Ben. One of the things is that like the kid has a new shot now. He comes around and is hitting like the pancake here, and I caught myself saying, all you can eat. I hop pancakes for days, but it's so efficient. And the reason for that is that often the left side player is sitting on the forehand to cover the middle, and that's why often that middle, especially diagonally, is not open for business. You think, oh, there's a hole there, and then there's a paddle there. But when people then try to go over to this side is when the paddle goes here. It's Riley Newman does a good job with that as well. And it makes it difficult sometimes to find certain spots on the body. But
it's a half windshield wiper. It's not a full windshield.
Exactly.
When we see clients going like
that,
this and coming through.
Yeah, that's tough, and that probably will end up hurting more. But again, it's covering more of the body. It's not to cover balls that are far further away. Which again, that's why we talk about specifically with like our clients is talking about, like, you're not trying to hit a winner. Often when we try to hit a winner, we make an error. You're trying to force them to give you either an easier ball or like, and we're not talking about smashes and all of that. These are balls that are more linear. They're about net, about the net level that you can attack. So I think that that's the biggest adjustment that I feel like, if you are trying to improve your aggressive game, is looking to hit spots on your opponent's body versus trying to go for that winner. And I think this.
I would go. So you're talking about the aggressive side. I would say, if in today's game, if there's an area that you need to focus on more, like the aggression's great, but if you could work on the counter attack, you can work on the reset, and you can work on the controlled transition coming through, whether you're coming forward or you've popped the ball up and you're getting a couple of steps back. The defense, and I've noticed it more this year, like the offense for the pros is always fantastic, and it's continuing to grow, but the defense has gone off of the charts now. And the focus on the defensive side of pickleball, I think a lot of people forget about it. Being able to drop a ball into the kitchen from anywhere on the court, being able to reset any hard ball that's hit at you, I think is invaluable. Or just the fact of getting a ball back, putting a paddle on it, making your opponents hit one more ball. But during the US Open, we saw it so many times, even guys hitting overheads, and they're just at the back, at the baseline, just popping another one up, wearing their opponents out, and then eventually they can get that ball back down and move forward. But I think the defensive part of pickleball is something that a lot of people forget.
Well, because it's not as interesting, right? It's not it's not as interesting to work on your defense, because that means you're going to be uncomfortable for quite a while. Like, if you're practicing defense, you have to be willing to feed some easy balls to your practice partner, and that means that you're going to get a lot of tough balls. And I think a lot of people forget that is going to happen.
You're going to suck at the start because you can't get any balls back because they're getting pounded at you.
Yep.
But then you end up getting
better. And also you start to read the paddle positioning better. Because of the fact that you then realize, okay, I do have more time than I think, and doing all of that. And I think also, like, the other thing I think is big, is recognizing weaknesses and strengths. And I talk about this a lot, where people play their strengths but forget that maybe that strength is not necessarily the best tactics, because if you hit a certain shot really well, but your opponent is better at the counter part, it doesn't mean that you should continue to do it. Just because you feel good about it and it feels nice to hit that shot, but then your opponent is burning you and your partner every single time, is just not beneficial. You're going to end up like, your shot looks great and feels awesome, but you're still losing. And I think that that's one thing about that adjustment, that just because it feels good, it doesn't mean that it will work. And I saw that quite a bit happening as I was watching matches and on my own, but also watching other people's matches, making that adjustment that you may need to hit to a different spot or set a different pattern than the one that you are currently using. So, and I would say that, like, when talking about patterns, because I don't want to make it too complicated, but just because you're going diagonal, because we talked about thinking diagonally being a really good pattern, just because you're going diagonal or going cross court, it doesn't mean that you have to always go out wide. Yes, and that's one thing that I noticed a lot of playing, like, catch, right? Because they're going diagonal. Okay, that's my pattern. But then the person starts to shift more and more, and because
they stay,
and then they're not moving. So you're not going to get like a mistake, even if it's like a pop-up or an error if they're just standing there waiting for that diagonal ball back and forth, back and forth. So with that, think about working on your diagonal, but also moving the ball around a little bit more in that, I mean, there is a lot of space that you can hit that is still diagonal, but it doesn't have to be wide.
I think one of the spots that a lot of people forget about, especially to a right-hander that is on the right-hand side, like that wide ball is excellent if it's penetrating through, but going to the left foot of a right-hander, it's extremely difficult for them to create an angle back out wide to you, and you get that easier ball. So bringing them into the middle, hitting it to the left foot, getting an easier ball back, then going out wide, it becomes that wide across court ball is more effective. And like you said, moving it around. But a lot of people are afraid to go to the middle sometimes because they're worried about somebody stepping across and taking that forehand. But if it's a quality ball that's low and to that left foot, it's very difficult for a right-hand to play, or the right foot for a lefty.
No, yeah, and that's the thing about patterns, is that it's not black and white. You have to play with the gray, because the gray is what is going to get, it's going to get you or your partner the ball that you want to. And I think that's, again, I think the more we watch and the more we see in it, being in that situation is almost like too easy for your opponent. So we like, it's hard for us sometimes to say, hey, go cross court or go diagonal, because we don't want them to get in this, like, just going to one spot on the court. So it's kind of like you have to be more like, you don't want to be so specific, but like, go to the right foot, go to the left foot, then go to the right, and you end up having.
Well, a lot of the time they're going middle, and you tell them to go cross court or go wider. So then, like you said, it's wide,
and then
there's no like here and here. It's either there or it's there, and a lot of people want that definitive answer, definitive spot to hit every ball. That's like the holy grail to win a point.
Yeah, so. But I think it's working on just being uncomfortable, really, when drilling, and hopefully, as people more and more pros kind of show that they drill a lot, that people start to taking pickleball. Like, if you want to get better, you do have to dedicate some time for drilling, because like I really like, I don't know many sports that you can improve without spending the time to actually like work on these things, because it's hard to get confidence. And I know when I talk about drilling, for me, is all about confidence. If I can't do it in practice, it's very, very hard to do it in a match, when you add the nerves and you add pressure and all of that. So really focusing on putting yourself as close to the match as you can in a controlled environment. And that's kind of like what I think that's why the game will continue to like increase the quality of players, because there's so many that are coming from backgrounds where drilling is something that they've done their like juniors, or even adult life, college tennis, and that's something that you don't just play matches every day at practice. You do a lot of work on that, and I mean, for me, I've talked about this, but there's also with aging is mobility, and I'm talking about any age. So it's not just playing. Sometimes if you have to work on certain movements, you may need to do stuff without actually like the ball. You may need to work on your footwork, do some drilling for that. So there's, I mean, it's interesting that as the game grows, the more you see the necessity to do better for yourself, not better than, more than your opponent. It's more about like, how can you improve, like, and get your skills to stay up to date with the game. And that is my biggest, I think, takeaway from from this week.
Yeah.
So did we talk too much? Sorry.
Oh no, I think it's gold. I love what you guys were talking about there, and we definitely have had quite a few questions coming in. So that kind of actually you brought up one, and this one was kind of unique for you, Simone, because I know for the US Open you played Sunday, then you had 4 days off, and then you played again for 3 days in a row. So I know this one was unique, but this question comes in from Carrie Gambesha Shannon. Hope I said that right. What was your week of training prior to a big tournament like? Drilling, playing, other? And just wanted to say thank you.
So pretty much, when Morgan got here, he had a very set schedule for what we are going to do. So pretty much focus at first was singles, because I hadn't done very much. I had been playing some, drilling some, but not a whole lot, because my mobility was still kind of iffy. So we kind of, at the beginning of the week, he worked on a few kinks that I had developed, some bad habits from overcoming injury. So it was at the beginning, it was more about let's adjust a few of the footwork issues and some of the timing and all of that. And then later, I played some games. So just kind of get some feel where I was with supplementing with drilling. So it was not, the whole thing was not just play, it was a mixture of play and drilling. And then as the week got, as the days got closer to singles, then it was easier. It was just a couple of feel-good hits and a little bit less, so that way I wouldn't be exhausted for Sunday. And then in between Sunday and Friday, because singles takes so much more out of the body, I took Monday and Tuesday easy, just recovery, and then practice on Wednesday and Thursday, and then played on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then I didn't do anything yesterday other than recovery. So doing PT, Chad and I are pretty lucky. We have Sean, who actually, with our busy schedule and kids and everything, he's actually, what do you call
mobile rehab?
Mobile rehab.
He goes to wherever you are and
so,
does therapy and active release, stretching.
So if you're in the Naples area and you want a PT that comes to you, he's your guy. He's amazing. So he's pretty much, it's very easy to adjust with our schedule, and he comes to us and then works on some stuff. And then of course we have homework for the week with exercises. Today I had a hit with Federico, but more so kind of, I don't know, I enjoy, helping the kid. He helps me a lot, so I enjoy helping him. He is facing a little bit of a challenge, a little bit of a, how do you say it? He has to change his pedal. And we're going to
with the carbon.
Yeah, so he's going to
Let's not get into that debate. We don't know anything about the carbon thing. Don't bring up any questions about the carbon.
So I but pretty much he's having to adjust very much on the short term here for St. Louis. So I was just kind of helping him, because I kind of didn't want to push my body too much today either. But it was good because we got to drill a little bit, and so we'll practice for an hour and a half, and then pretty much tomorrow, Phil, as he says, my coach, I said, if you are my coach, then we gotta, my real coach, as he says, we gotta get on the court and do some drilling. So tomorrow I'm just gonna work on kind of like confidence on my shots again, because the ball, so that's something too, so changing back to the Dura. So that's kind of like timing is different. I even change, not change, but I make adjustments on my strokes when I'm playing with one versus the other. So that's kind of like getting honestly, before tournament, you have to get confidence. Whatever it is that you do, of course, don't overdo before the tournament. Don't do more than you usually do, because otherwise you end up exhausted by tournament time. But I highly recommend that if you need to get confidence, if you're not feeling good about your third shot or something of that sort, that you have to get that confidence. You have to find a way. Drilling, probably playing is not going to get you that confidence if you're not executing in point play. But usually I'll do point play like when I get to the site, so that way I can hit with my partner and get a few games in before tournament starts. That's usually how I do my week, prior to the tournament.
Oh, great answer. This is a question from Connor Chafin on YouTube, and Connor asks, do you have a list of tournaments for the next few months you are attending?
So a few months is pushing it. I'm taking month by month, but I do have this month is really busy. So because I'm taking literally like day by day, but I, of course, with partnerships and everything, I kind of plan ahead. I am playing St. Louis this weekend with Corinne and Dylan. And then I have Atlanta a couple weeks after that, the 19th or something like that of May. And that one I'm playing with the siblings, Georgia and JW. And then I am going to New York at the end of May, and I'm playing that one. I'm gonna attempt to play singles. Hopefully I'll be more ready for that. And that one I'm playing singles, Andrea and Dylan. And then I joined the draft for MLP, so I'll jump into June, and I'll be playing the Major League Pickleball in Austin at the beginning of June. But then after that, I'm taking a break. I'm probably gonna be off for about a month, just kind of because it'll be a lot, and I figure like I'll need some time to recover to start over again. In July, at the end of July, I got the Beer City Open. And that is kind of, which is, you love that tournament because it's home. Yeah, it was always a fun tournament, and I'm doing that one with Andrea and JW and playing singles for that. So that's kind of what I have, like, for certain. I have others, like I know Hilton Head I'm playing. I have a few others that I'm playing, but like I haven't added anything yet. I'm just kind of, let's see how it goes. I have pulled back on a couple, but yeah, kind of like meaning like I have decided not to go to a few, just so that way I'm not overdoing it, as I want to finish out all the way through. So my kind of like last tournament should be the one in the APP Boca Masters at the end of January, maybe beginning of February. So yeah, so I want to make it to that in one piece.
Yeah. So just a few tournaments, nothing major, right?
Oh my gosh, it's a lot. It's a lot. But it's so easy to, like, the body starts to feel better, and then you get a wake up call because I woke up on Monday and I was like, ow, 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 like my feet hurt, which hadn't happened in a while. So I was extremely sore to kind of be mad at me when I push it a little too far.
Yep, I think we can all definitely relate to that, especially those who play at your level, for sure.
And it's so funny because I actually had a conversation with a couple. They were walking at the US Open, and they were talking about aging, and they were like they were because every age is relative, right, to the people that you're competing against. But they were saying how like their friends were talking to them about the difference between like 65 and like 70. It's like it seemed like such a huge gap in mobility. And so I mean I can relate to that in the sense like, you know, when I was 35 versus now, it's only, you know, 7 8 years, but it's a big difference because you remember how it was to move that way compared to now. So yeah. But
Nice.
anyway, but any more questions out there for us? Anything
Yeah.
else before we
Why
get
don't-
these kids?
Yeah, why don't we do a couple more here? Here's one from Betsy Ventura, and she says, getting ready to play WDS in National Senior Games with a strong partner. Any tips? Bracket has solid 5-0 teams. Venue is indoors.
Here's my tip. Stop stressing out. You play 4 times a week indoors. You're totally fine.
We love us some Betsy.
No, Betsy's great. She's just worries.
She's a oh yeah, that's what I was gonna say. That's all right. We'll get on court. Get some games in.
But I will like just in a general tip for Betsy's question right there is, you know, if you've got those nerves going into the tournament, it's like what Simone said earlier. You have to get out, you have to drill, you have to work on some stuff to get the confidence with that. And if you can get in some good drilling sessions, and it's a drill session that you can kind of do at game speed. So you drill like you play, and then when you go and play, you play like you drill. So the stress is taken away if you look at the game like, hey, I just did this all week while I'm drilling. Because once we get into the game, like your focus changes. It's all of a sudden you were drilling and you're looking at it and everything was great. The ball was going over the net, and then all of a sudden you start thinking about don't hit in the net, don't hit in the net, don't hit in the net. The focus, your brain doesn't hear don't, and it just focuses on the net. So then all of a sudden you're hitting balls in the net, and then you're like, oh my gosh, I'm hitting in the net. I have to lift it higher, and it just snowballs. So finding the comfort level, getting good drill sessions in, you know, I think that's the best way. And if you're playing with a strong partner, then just stay relaxed with it and say, hey, you know what, I'm going to play my game. I'm going to set them up. And then they're going to be there to pull the trigger or do whatever.
I remember I think also you worry about letting her down, and that's not the case with Christy. So get over that. Let's get past that, and because I feel like like sometimes people like feel like the pressure, you know, like letting you down, and it's like you don't, like, I wouldn't be playing with you unless I wanted to, and so there was none of that. So like that is definitely something to move forward and beyond that, and just focus on just being ready.
Great advice. Did you hear that, Betsy?
Don't worry, we'll text her.
Love it.
Oh, she didn't text before.
Why don't we do one more question here? And so I know you guys mentioned earlier you don't want to talk about any of the paddle stuff going on right now. But basically,
well, we don't want to talk about this because we have no idea what's going on.
Sure.
Honestly, we live in our own bubble sometimes, and often people ask me like about that, and I'm just like, I don't know, and we don't know which direction is gonna go, but definitely something will happen here soon, because as things kind of, it usually tends to be one thing happens and then it kind of snowballs, I think.
Sure. Kind of along that though, it's not really about the paddle so much, but it's more about spin. Kim Lath on YouTube asks, with all the controversy over spin, what are your feelings on spin being such an advantage at the pro level?
Oh, I mean, of course it is, because the ball, for example, with top spin, there are certain balls that they curve, like they stay in. For me, it's like I would let those go because they would go out from a ball that is so low, like below the net. The ball grabs way more. It's coming towards your face, and you think like, there's no way this ball is staying in, and it lands a foot in. So yeah, that's difficult. I mean, that's difficult to make that adjustment. The one thing I would say is that as far as underspin, the cuts, I think that is not as it's more with the top spin. The top spin is what has made a big difference.
Yeah, I mean the amount of backspin you add, whether it's a super textured paddle or whether it's a little bit smoother paddle, you add backspin, and regardless of how much backspin's on it, it's going to stay down when it hits because the ball slides a little bit more. But
I haven't noticed the ball skidding.
It's not skidding. It's not skidding anymore with the textured paddle, but definitely taking a ball from the toes or curling something, even on a dink, Now, like if that ball is grabbing a hold of it, like it used to be really difficult to take a topspin dink and to keep it down.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's grab it and just rip it, and that ball is hitting and kicking out and pushing off of the court more. So yeah, definitely with the increase in one, everybody's working on that, and the new players coming in are stepping up the game because you've got a lot of high-level tennis players coming in that have hit with heavy topspin or whatever else. So then the game changes, and the flicks, the rolls, everything else. But definitely if the paddles are moving more toward that textured paddle or that spin grip stuff, it's going to change the game even more, and it makes it.
You'll see a lot more speed ups, a lot more. Like, because again, if you can speed up a ball like pretty low, you can hit some spots of the body, but you can also hit the ball higher. You'll see a lot more people coming to that ready position here because if the ball goes high, it's pretty hard to go here or get out of the way quick enough to hit that ball when it's come towards your face, and you go like this and the ball is landing in.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel like that will make, and that's what I think it will happen, that if it does happen is that it will make for more adjustments. And I think that's where people will be changing a little bit of as far as like how they hold the paddle. That would be something extremely interesting, and I think it's already happening, but it could already like then go more and more.
Yeah.
That's how I see it.
Well, great questions, everyone. Thank you guys for submitting them. I apologize we weren't able to get to all of them, but we really appreciate it, and continue to tune in because I don't know, Simone. I think people are liking this question and answer stuff. I think we should definitely keep including these in live streams. What do you think?
Of course, always. I mean, I'm not going to say that on the fly. I'm like, did I answer that with the way they asked? But I think it's the way that you're going to for sure get the most honest answer, because I'm not even thinking about it. I'm just saying as this comes to my head. It's like, there he goes. But I did forget something. So because paddle, but also so I did receive. I'm sorry. I have 3 paddles that I owe, and it's completely my fault because my life is very hectic. It is like most people, but I have not had time to go to the post office. But since I owe another one anyway, when I come back from St. Louis, I have 2 weeks that I'm here, which again are gonna be a little bit calmer for me, and I have like few teaching engagements, so I will send those out. So that means that we'll give out a 4th, and that way I'll have 4 paddles to put in the mail next week. So drum roll, and Addie, you pick.
All right, so I'm just going to be picking randomly at the comments here. So, drum roll, please. And boom. Wally Hustad on YouTube. You are the big winner. So thank you for your questions. Sorry we weren't able to get to
What was
them.
his question? If he won the paddle, we'll
And
answer
like
it.
now we have to hear
All
this
right.
question.
All right. We will pull it up here. So let's pull it up. So the question was, how do you recognize paddle position? What are you looking for?
Ooh.
Yeah.
That could be a really long answer.
But Wally, the biggest thing is that pretty much most people have a tail like on the with the back end is, I think it's the biggest tell, because they like to take back and no matter where they are on the court, right, left side,
And they'll
they
have
shift.
they'll have a different positioning as far as paddle and elbow. People that like to go that backhand regardless will be a little bit more linear. So then they can come all the way across this way and go here. If it's somebody that's going to switch from backhand to forehand, they're here a little bit more, so they go there to there. So that's one way that you can look at somebody that's going to sit more backhand. And then the same, if somebody that sits forehand a lot, they're just going to sit really linear this way and try to come back.
Yeah, and even more like if they're like on the forehand, I see a lot more people that are forehand, they have the hand more in front of their face this way. So the paddle tends to lean to the forehand. And you'll see like literally after a few balls, if you hit towards their body, their preference, you're gonna see by how many balls they are hitting with that wing. So if they're not switching in and they're going back and back and back and kind of shifting that route, that's where they're tending to go. So that's the one that you would go right shoulder, right hip, versus the other way around. Then you go left and left, and then you'll see a few of these or a few of these. So yeah, so that's kind of the easy, the short, easy.
The short, easy one, and you can do it. You can do it with dinks and bouncing balls as well. Like if you go left foot, right foot. If somebody's coming across and hitting a forehand on that left foot, then that left foot's a really good spot to attack, because they're going to pop that ball up as they come and they lift through this way. Whereas if you push it out a little bit wider and they're going across with the backhand and they're trying to go straight in front, then it's good to attack out wider on the forehand side as well. So early on, and I think when you watch pro matches and stuff, the first couple of points, it's kind of not super clean, because they're trying to figure out the style that each person's playing with at that point. So they're trying things a little differently. Some balls might fly out, some balls might go to the net or whatever. But it's trying to get a feel for the situation. So if you do that early and try to get a feel for it, rather than you're down 6-1, you're like, hey, I need to make an adjustment right now. That's probably the wrong time to.
Not the wrong. I mean,
the wrong time to take larger chances.
Yeah. Might be a little too risky, but But again, I truly believe that we are also extremely lucky in a way, because we play the same people all the time. So for us, it's a little easier because we have seen them before, where often other levels that you don't really, see the same people that often. So that's why you do have to use even sometimes the warm up, if somebody that you don't know, and if you see them just taking backhand volleys the whole warm up, most likely that's what they're gonna do in the match. So that's kind of something to also be aware. That's why I always recommend come warm, come ready. So that way you can actually, if you don't know your opponents, you can actually see them during the warm up a little bit.
I will say that sometimes it's more difficult to play against a 3-5-4-0 player than it is to play against a 5-0 high level, because some 3-5-4-0 players, they hit a ball and there's no rhyme or reason why they hit the ball, where they hit it, why they hit that shot. So yeah, it's having a plan and coming into it or analyzing it and watching it is key.
Great answers. So, well, if you want to reach out, hopefully you're on Facebook and you can send a message with your contact information. So Simone can get
And
that
I
out to you.
promise I have to go back and find my peeps. Hopefully I'll get help from Eddie and Chanel. I know I have one, and I've honestly I'll find the time next week. I pinky promise.
We'll hold you to it.
All right. So anyways, thank you again. And we'll connect about what we're gonna do. Maybe something different next week. But we'll let everybody know what is going on next week.
Awesome. Have a great night, everybody. Thank you for tuning in.
Thank you.
See you guys.